Okay, so the argument that's currently going around right now is that Fulcrum can't be done on a budget. There's a lot of people that are trying to play Fulcrum. They're trying to do it on this crazy budget. All of the jewels and stuff are expensive, out of control. And I'm pretty convinced that you could do it on a budget. So I've put it together on a juicer budget, or well, not really juicer, but I put it together on a relatively decent budget. And we're going to attempt a tier 16 juice map with all the stuff and see how it goes. We're going to go to the Wildwood. We're going to click all the altars. We're going to do an 8 mod map. And we're going to go down the line. Now, at the time of recording, an unlinked Fulcrum is 14.5 divs. It'll cost you about a div or two to link. So we're roughly at, we're just going to say 17 divs for the Fulcrum. We have a +2 socketed armor. Unlinked is 1 div. It'll cost us about 2 or 3 divs to link. So we're going to say we're at 20. We're going to look at a pair of Sedemas that are 10% just max life. These are 50C. Biscos with some stats on it. This is 40C. We're going to look at Sedemas with +1s. This is 1 divine, so we're at +1. This puts us at 21. We're going to look at a very basic Defiance of Destiny. The only stat we care about is missing life res. This is about 8 divs. All of the other stats don't matter. This puts us at 29. These Venters are about a divine each. We're gonna like price them a little higher. So like this one's a divine, and then this one's probably a little bit more. This one's like 40C, so we're gonna say 2 divines on the Venters. So we're at 31. I grabbed any helmet in my stash. I know somebody's gonna say that the fracture is costly. It's like 10C. Maybe more. It's like, we're just gonna say 4 divines on the helmet. The helmet's not really crafted, so we're gonna put it on the cheaper side of things. The helmet's got 1 essence, so we'll just say we're gonna be extreme here. We're gonna say it took us 10 divs to craft the helmet, so we're at 41 divs. Enlighten 3 is really expensive, so this is another 4 divs, so that puts us at 45. Now, for the helmet, something that just came to me, we can get Fractured Rarity and then just craft on Fizz taken as. Like I said, I grabbed a helmet in my stash. You don't have to use this 10 divine helmet. This helmet's actually really bad. There's no Eldritch Implicits on it. We're just overpricing the Fracture. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about the helmet. The helmet is just overpriced out the wazoo. We have Arrogance, this we bought from the vendor. We have Vitality, this we bought from the vendor. Flame Dash, Life Tap Support, Infernal Cry, Combustion, all bought from the vendor. Flammability, Life Tap, Molten Shell, Cast and Damage Taken, all bought from the vendor. Herald of Ash, Purity of Fire. This one's actually relevant. You probably want this one at 21. You really don't need the extra fire res. I mean, it's better to have it with the fire res, but you can get it cheap for 150C. We're gonna say this is 4 divines. Extra fire res is just really good for the build, so we're at 49 divs right now. Haste from the vendor, Enlighten we counted, Determination from the vendor, Defiance Banner from the vendor. We have Efficacy from the vendor, 21 Righteous Fire so that we do a bit more damage. You don't need 21. You can get away with 20 and just level it. 21 is just extra. I'm going to include it in the calculations. We're just going to say +2 for 51 divs. Awaken LE Focus. This, at the time of recording, is 1 div leveled up, 60C unleveled up. Awaken Burning Damage, same thing. 1 div, 50C unleveled. I'm not going to include +2 divs for level gems. You guys can level the gems on your own. Same thing with the life tap. You don't need it at 21. It's just what I had in my stash. You can just level one yourself, but we'll include 1 div for the life tap, 1 div for the 1 gem, 1 div for the other gem. The bunch of 50C stuff, we're going to make 0.5. So we're at roughly 54.5 divines. And then we'll add in 2 divines for flask because we spent alterations to roll them. We're going to look at our tree. We have no charm sockets in at all. We have the standard Chieftain tree. We go down here for extra aura. We take this for extra dex. We take the ignite nodes. We have corrupted blood immunity here. We have bleed immunity on our flask. We're shock immune from our flask plus our soul of Garrican. We have shock immunity there. We're frozen immune from this. We should actually go do the other Pantheon to get chill immunity, but I like running this as, you know, I like reverse chill, but we'll talk about that later. We have a Fan the Flames Cooked Alive cluster. This was 1 div, so we're at +1, so we're at 57.5. We have a Enduring Composure. We grabbed it with Dex and Chaos Res. This was 2 divs, so we're at 57.5 + 2. We're at 59.5, and that is it. That is everything. That is everything that we have. So grand total 59.5 divines because we overpriced the helmet. So you could say this is roughly between 50 and 60 divines to run this. This flask has increased effect movement speed. This flask has LE resistances and duration. This one has shock effect +3 power charges. This one has armor increased duration. One of the reasons why we have the extra LE res is because we want as much overcapped fire resistance as we can, because one of our masteries gives us 1% life regeneration per uncapped fire resistance. As far as mastery goes, we take life reservation here. We take chance to explode there. We're getting skill effect duration there for the ignites. We're getting more life there, more max res there because we're reserving vitality on life. And yeah, that's pretty it. We're getting more life regen here for survivability, max life there. We're getting reduced crits from this. And then corrupted blood there. Now we're not using something like Progenitus because Progenitus is currently 100 divines. We're not using fancy anti-bleed rings. We're not using fancy anti-poison rings. We're using a basic Biscos. And if you really wanted to, one of the things that you can do, or one of the really big changes that you can make, is you can actually add, where is it? Let me find it. I just thought about it. One of the reasons, or one of the things that you can do is you can actually get like a basic non-corrupted Winterweave, which I guess I have no non-corrupted ones left. It doesn't really matter what's on it. You can get a Winterweave and replace one of these with a Winterweave. This will reverse the effects of chill and make you super duper 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 fast. Now note, if you do the Winterweave tech, you can't have this last Pantheon that reduces the effect of chill. If you do that, the Winterweave will not work, and it will be really, really, really bad, and it just won't be worth doing. Another really cool thing that you can do too to increase survivability and make your maps a lot smoother is you can grab a Death Rush. This gives you adrenaline on kill, which will give you movement speed, life recovery, chaos resistance, PDR. You can get a really nice Death Rush for not too expensive. They're like 50C. You pretty much just look for one with a bad chaos res roll and then you fix the chaos res yourself. So they're like 50C. And that's it. That's the build. We're roughly 60 divines with everything because we overpriced a lot of things. And that's just what we're looking at. So now we're going to bring this into a map. Our atlas looks like this. We have the standard. We're going to remove these points because I was rolling sextants. I forgot to remove these points. We're going to put these back in here. Our atlas is pretty simple. We have the standard wandering path setup, 8 mod map shenanigans. I have a map that's pre-regex for the Fulcrum. I will include that regex for you guys, that you guys will be able to copy that and do that. We have Gilded Abyss, Gilded Ambush, Gilded Reliquary, Gilded Divination. We're going to put that there because it's nicer in the middle. We're going to be using sextants. Our sextants are Abyss, Strongbox, Enraged, and Beyond. So now we're going to have Beyond. We're going to click on Delirium on the map device. If you really want to get fancy, you can throw some Beast on there. I don't personally like using Beast because Beasts just don't explode and they're pretty terrible. But I mean, you could add Beast if you'd like. Also, Ironheart kills the Beast, so they really don't do anything. Now, as far as other things goes, in typical classic me fashion, I didn't turn on my auras. And I have Twitch chat while I record this currently yelling at me to turn on my auras. Thanks, Twitch chat. So you can see we have Purity Fire, Herald of Ash, Determination, Haste, the Defiance Banner, Vitality, Righteous Fire, and we maintain our life. We are at 87 all res, negative chaos resistance, and we're gonna jump into a map. Yay! Okay. So, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna skip the Delior, we're gonna hop right into the Wildwood, and we're gonna do the classic look for the Wisp. Now, since we don't have the extra Charm Explode, we're gonna have to do things like Infernal Cry. We have Combustion on our Flame Dash. So to get the extra damage that we're going to need, we're going to have to literally pretty much Flame Dash to put on the Combustion. We're gonna have to use the Infernal Cry to just pretty much make these guys want to explode to help our explode. We have everything going on for us that we would want. And we're just going to go hunt the Wisp juice. Now, if you've seen the videos that have been going around the last couple of days, you'll know that as soon as you pretty much hit an event, you'll know that you're pretty much good to go in that direction and you want to change the direction that you're going. So we do that. We're going to grab all the Wisp juice here. And then we're going to follow the Wisp. Okay, I guess the Wisp are just going to end over here. All right, that's cool. We're just going to go back and do a diamond pattern. Now, one of the biggest reasons why I'm doing this is we've had this conversation in Twitch chat over and over and over again about people constantly freaking out about the cost of Fulcrum and Fulcrum being expensive and, you know, being absolutely terrible. And time again, I've referred people to, you know, and this is a big shout out to my boy Locahol. I know he's here while I'm recording this. Like, he did a great job explaining to people that you can play builds and you can do things different and you can change the tree up and you can do all kinds of wonderful things where you don't need to copy things directly. And this is why we encourage you guys to join our Discords. This is why we encourage you guys to join our streams. We want to help you guys find out of the box solutions to the problems that you're having, especially if you're trying to play a build and some things are just too expensive or too crazy. Now, there are some things that can't be changed. Sometimes, like if you're playing a headhunter build, like you really need a headhunter. Or if you're playing like this Mage Blood build, like if you guys have been watching the Maw of Mischief that I've been playing lately, like that build really needs like Mage Blood to really work and really profit. But you can see this map right now, you know, it's pretty juicy, right? We got 2,300 blue, 1,900 wisp. This is gonna give us extra crit. This is gonna give us extra projectiles. Like, this is a pretty good map, you know. You know, we're feeling really confident about this. We're feeling really good about this. You know, we should, in theory, get some like fucking awesome loot. And overall, it's just great. So now, before I go into the map, I completely forgot to go click on this and double check these. We'll make sure we're not missing 150 divine awesomeness. Okay, now F for the Baba Yaga. Let's go into the map. And just like that, we're gonna flame dash, we're gonna debuff our mobs, we're gonna infernal cry to get explosions. And we're just gonna cruise, man. We're gonna look for altars. Now, I purposely don't have on Val Breach for single target because I felt that Val Breach, while really good, is really expensive. And I didn't want people to feel baited to the fact that they needed to buy Val Breach. Val Breach will help your single target, but one of the things that you could do in terms of single target is literally what I just did here. You can have a mob that's obviously very big, very juicy, hard to kill, and you could just skip it for now and come back later. So you can skip it, you can go get some ignites going, you can start blowing up the entire screen. You see we're like in zero fear of dying at any point here. We've accidentally set off the abyss, so we're gonna start this one. We're gonna get this one to come to a head. It's gonna start spawning mobs. We're gonna just kind of take a hike over here. And we're gonna go over here and we're gonna blow this one up too. Now, there are altars that you can click that will ruin the Fulcrum. Nice, divine, baby, let's go. There are altars that you will click that will ruin the Fulcrum. Like, they will 100% brick this build. There is nothing you can do about it. I don't care what anybody says. If you click on the altar that says reduce recovery rate per endurance charge, you know, it'll just completely brick and ruin your build. Don't click it. If you click it and then say the map was bad, that's divine. That is 100%. Like, you made a mistake, that's okay. So just keep that in mind. Now, some of the other ones for this build that are really rough or a little bit rough is just minus PDR. If you take a bunch of minus PDR, you're gonna be in a really bad spot. So try not to take a whole ton of minus PDR. This build in itself, in terms of survivability, is 1000% carried by the Defiance of Destiny and the armor. One of the things that I like to tell a lot of people, especially when we're playing Fulcrum and they say to me, well, how do I get started? What's the best way to get started? The best way to get started is to literally buy the Fulcrum, buy the armor, buy the amulet, and go blow mobs up. Like, that's it. You can just go blow up mobs. And if you don't want to play it as MF and you want to play it any other way, like, it's still just as good. You see right there, we stood in everything, we tanked everything, everything just kind of, you know, you just brush it off, because the build in itself for the cost point to get into this tier 16 juicing is pretty nuts. Like, you really can't beat it. Like, it's out of this world. It's probably like the easiest cost to entry for Magic Find. The biggest problem is, and time again that we've said, is with terms of the Fulcrum, too many people are too hard set on needing certain things. And the beauty of the Fulcrum, especially if you watched or participated or did anything with the Fulcrum last league, is that you just need a way to start the Ignite chain. So many people played it in a wide variety of ways last league. You could play it as Fire Trap, you could play it as RF like you see here, you could play it as Penance Brand, which I've played for a little bit, which I actually really like a lot. You could play it as Detonate Dead, Cast on Stun VD. You could play it as Kobe Black Mama played it last league, as Val Fireball, which is actually probably my absolute favorite way to play it. You can play it as Val Fireball, and check this out. You can use the sextant that says you don't have to worry about Val Souls, and you play the entire map with Val Fireball. So you just kill your first mob, get some souls rolling, have Val Fireball up, and then the entire map you just play Val Fireball. You just run around, you just Val Fireball the whole map. Now, the one thing I will say about this build is, for burial chambers, or in general, if you don't have Val Breach, we've said that your single target will be a little rough. You will have some issues with single target. You'll probably never be able to kill a Lyra on this map. Ooh, another one! A Lyra in itself is really difficult and really hard, especially like if she's ghosted and stuff. We're gonna go into a Lyra, we're gonna go die to a Lyra. I'm just gonna show you just how it works. And like I said, you know, you don't expect to go into this map and do this type of content, and, you know, don't get upset if you can't kill a Lyra. If you want to kill a Lyra and you want to kill the map boss, you're gonna need to make a little bit more investment. You're gonna need to get a Val Breach. You're gonna have to maybe change up some of the gear. And some things that you can really do to really spice up the character is, like, if you don't want to be full MF, you can get gloves that can, with Eldritch Implicits, spread the ignites. You can get boots from Maven that give you Scorch and Explode. I guess Detonate Dead plus everything hitting us is probably too much. But there are a lot, and I mean a lot of options that you can do and take to really kick this character up to the next level. That's pretty much like what you can do. And you see, like, yeah, we died there, of course, but it took mobs hitting us, Detonate Dead, a box exploding, and all kinds of crazy things to really just kind of kill us. Otherwise, like, we've gone through this entire map, we've made 3 divines, we have loot everywhere, we have a harvest we can choose to go and do, and overall the map is relatively a huge success. And we put this build together for under 60 div. Now, I know there's gonna be a ton of players that are gonna say, like, oh, 60 divs is really expensive, it's really hard to get to 60 divs. What do I do? How do I do it? And the biggest thing is, like I said, you don't need all of the gear that I've showcased here right now. You don't need everything that I've put together. And essentially, we're missing a lot of things. You know, to point out again, we're missing all of our charms. We have no Watcher's Eye. We have no Timeless Jewel. We have very basic clusters. We make up our mana reservation here. We're making up mana reservation there. We have no Eldritch Implicits on our helmets. And, like, you can really just sink money and sink money and sink money into this, and it'll get to where you need it to be, and it will be awesome. It'll be amazing. It'll be even stronger than this is here now, and you'll just be able to, like, do what you need to do. I don't understand what I died to there, but I mean, whatever. That's it, man. That's the Fulcrum. If you guys know what I died to there, please let me know. I'm actually like dumb. So if you could tell me what I died to there, that would be great. And I probably should have put a portal down. I don't know. I have no idea. I just got stuck and dead. Like, it was terrible. But anyways, this is the Fulcrum. This is how it works. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment, a like, do all the things, stop by the Discord, ping the community, come by the live stream, and do what you need to do. And, you know, once again, I want to say, you know, thank you guys for, you know, asking a lot of questions, because I know I've personally been playing the Fulcrum, and I know I've been playing it at a higher tier level, and, like, there's a lot of confusion. And a lot of like people are really worried about like the cost of the build and how to get into it. And, you know, people are asking a lot of questions, and there's just a lot of information, and, you know, it's overwhelming for people. So, you know, taking the time to put this together to like show you guys that you can do this is like, you know, it's really helpful for not only for me because it gets my brain thinking, but it shows you guys like, you know, just like Local Haul was saying, there are plenty of different ways to build a build, and there are plenty of different ways to put it together, and there are things that we can do outside of the box, and we really don't need to copy things one for one. So if you found, like I said, if you found this helpful, or this was useful, or this like taught you anything, please let me know how I can help, and we'll go from there. But for now, friends, I'm gonna go loot this map. I'll see you guys in the next one.